Hey, Kirk County. So this is Mrs. Kingsbury here at the Future Center. So I do the college and career readiness and the Aspire coordination for our high school. And we're going to be talking a little bit with Emily Ford from OSU-Cascades campus. She's the admissions advisor there. She's going to talk to us about dual partnership, some of the benefits that they have with them and COCC for students who are looking to save some money or just get take advantage of getting access to both schools before they fully go to the university. So Emily, go ahead and you can tell us a little bit about OSU and how that's just a great option for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for letting me chime in today. Hi, everybody. I am the admissions advisor that serves all of Kirk County High School. I'm super excited to talk to you a little bit about the Degree Partnership Program. You might have heard of it before, but if not, the Degree Partnership Program is just this awesome resource for you to use to further your education here in Central Oregon. So you basically get to go to two schools at once, so OSU-Cascades and COCC. How that kind of works from the beginning is when you apply to OSU-Cascades as a Degree Partnership Program student, sometimes we call it DPP for short. So if you apply for DPP, you will be automatically admitted to a COCC as well. So you'll get to jump in and start taking classes with both of those schools. So the biggest benefit to that, besides, of course, saving tuition because community college credits are cheaper and those classes you take at COCC directly transfer into your OSU-Cascades degree, the best, I would say, benefit of this is getting all of that support of advising from your OSU-Cascades academic advisor. So what happens when you start as a first-year student with the DPP program is you are meeting with your academic advisor at OSU-Cascades, and they know about all the classes at COCC as well that can transfer into your OSU-Cascades degree. So you're not stuck trying to guess which classes are going to transfer or having two different academic advisors. So you just have the one here on our campus that's really helping you to stay on track for your degree, graduate in a timely manner, but also getting to take advantage of both campuses because, as you may know, COCC does have a larger class offering as well. So you can also take advantage of some other classes that we might not offer here at OSU-Cascades and vice versa. So sometimes students will take more classes at COCC to start and then work on into their course load more OSU-Cascades classes as they work farther into their degree. So for example, you might take pretty much all of your general education classes over at COCC, which is awesome. Another benefit to this, as I said, it's going to be saving you tuition dollars, is that you can also take advantage of scholarships on both campuses. So there are some scholarship opportunities that you can take advantage of at COCC and OSU-Cascades as well. And like I said, there's just a lot of different benefits to this program that allow you to really immerse yourself at OSU-Cascades and also get to experience the community at Central Oregon Community College as well. So this is a really popular opportunity for Central Oregon students and students all over the area. But a lot of you are looking to stay closer to home in these next couple of years with the situation we're in, or maybe just wanting to stay here and get your OSU degree, which is also great. So there's a lot of really great opportunities in this program. But if you ever have questions about it, feel free to ask me or Miss Kingsbury because we'd be happy to help you out.
Yeah, it really is such an awesome opportunity. And like COCC and OSU-Cascades have such a good relationship with their communication for courses and their planning to hope that their courses will transition well. Because I mean, when you transfer to university, all your credits most likely will transfer, but they might not transfer correctly into the degree you're wanting to pursue at the next university. So, I mean, for me, for example, I did dual partnership program with OSU and Corvallis and Portland Community College, but I had to do all this research of like, okay, will this class at PCC work for OSU? Because they don't work together. They're connected with the dual partnership program, but they don't actually work with each other on like advising. Like I don't have an advisor at OSU, which I can talk to her and plan and say, hey, I came up with this solution. What do you think? But it's so nice to have someone at OSU that's like, hey, yes, all those classes will work great. I know that these classes will work. That was one of the things I had learned when I went to a counselor conference. It was great to hear from everybody at OSU and COCC talking about how they've made that connection. It's so awesome that just to make it easier for students. And if you do want to transfer, and even if you don't know if you want to transfer, but you want to be a DPP student, sometimes you can get advice and have an idea of what you would need to take at the university and also get access to grad tracks. So that's something where you can see the degree that you'd be transitioning to once you go to a university after 2 years. You can see what courses you'd have to take. So you can actually be involved in looking at that. and again, how each one of your classes at, if you went to COCC and transferred to OSU-Cascades, but even before, you can get all your classes, they go over to OSU-Cascades at the end of each term, and then they can go into your grad track so you can see what you'd have to do next and kind of where you'd be at when you went there. Emily, so tell us about living on campus. Like, could a student who's a dual partnership student at COCC and OSU-Cascades live at OSU-Cascades in their dorms?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of our students are living, if you're choosing to live on campus, because you do have the option to living out in Prineville, you can commute to campus if you want. But we highly encourage you to consider living on campus just because it immerses you in the culture on campus. And you also just get to, of course, you're taking classes at COCC and here at Cascades, so you're getting to experience those communities. But the residence hall community is so much fun, getting to live in the dorms with everyone else. And yeah, so you absolutely can do that as a degree partnership program student.
Yeah, and the campus is beautiful. It's such a nice campus, and it's only getting bigger, which is awesome. Growing bigger.
There are buildings going up right now behind me. I can hear them,
yes,
building
it's so fun. Students, if you haven't been able to check it out, even if you're in the area and you just kind of drive by it and take a look, it's really nice. It's a super nice campus. They have really great programs and always getting more and more programs. And you can always talk to Emily if you,
my light went
motion
off.
light, dang it, I've had that problem. So you can always talk to Emily. I have her contact information. I will list it on the Zoom that you'll see in just a second, and please reach out if you have any questions to her or to me. She knows all sorts of things about OSU and OSU Cascades, and we want to help you guys be successful. But thanks, Emily, for talking to us a little bit about dual partnership at COCC. And again, if you have more questions about how that works, you guys, Emily is the go-to. She's the one you talk to. She'll help you apply. She'll help you figure out how that all works. If you have questions about what you need to have before you transfer, that is a really good tool to have, and she is ready to help. So thanks again, Emily, so much for joining us and talking to us a little bit about the program. And we're glad that we could have you on Zoom, even if we can't have you in person. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks. Hey everybody, my name again is Carissa Kingsbury. I am the College and Career Readiness and Aspire Coordinator here at Kirk County High School. Today's topic of discussion for our College and Career Talks is going to be Dual Partnership Program, otherwise maybe known as DPP. So what the Dual Partnership Program is a resource that you are able to go to a community college and a university at the same time as a student at both schools to be able to take advantage of some lower level classes that might be inexpensive at the community college, but still getting access to some of the information at the university, advising at the university, advising at the community college. So then that way, when you transfer, it's a smoother transition because all classes that you take at a community college will transfer to university. But sometimes if you don't plan it correctly, they might only go in as electives and not as the actual courses you need in the program at that university you plan to go to. So sometimes you need a little extra planning and a little extra help. Pretty much all public universities in Oregon have a community college that is a dual partnership program school with them. So many schools have multiple schools. So here in Central Oregon, we have COCC and OSU-Cascades who are dual partnership students and dual partnership programs together. But then there's also like OSU in Corvallis, who is a dual partner with COCC here in Bend, and then also like Portland Community College and Lynn Benton. There's so many different schools that they have access to, so students can save some money before they transition to OSU if you plan to go there. Or, you know, Portland Community College could transfer to like Portland State University. There's so many different public universities where you can save some money and transfer over. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the details with the dual partnership program, DPP, and why it might be beneficial for you for some financial aid, scholarships, all of that. So first things first is you can become a dual partnership student at any time. So if you wanted to go to COCC first or a community college in Oregon first to take advantage of the Oregon Promise, you can become a dual partnership student anytime. You would just apply to the university as a dual partner student. And then it gives you access to see what you'd be transitioning to, or if you don't know and you want to kind of see what that scholarship, or sorry, not scholarship, that plan of your degree once you transfer would be before you get rid of your Oregon Promise scholarship and transition, then you can have a better plan. And again, it helps for planning your courses. Specifically, a little bit later in this video, I have a guest, Emily Ford, who's going to discuss a little bit about OSU-Cascades campus and COCC and their relationship, which they are so great at helping students plan. Like they even have the OSU advisors, academic advisors, the ones planning your schooling at COCC. So if you're a DPP student and you want to go to OSU and you know you want to go, they will help tell you exactly what courses you need to take before you transfer over. And they don't mind if you're wanting to go there and save money. They just want to help you be successful for when you come over there. So they're going to let you do that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But again, you can be a dual partnership student at any time. So one of the things to keep in mind is financial aid. So financial aid is that money to pay for college. So you have to fill out the FAFSA to be able to get financial aid out of school and to be able to get access to some of those scholarships regarding that. So you can receive financial aid offers from both schools, both the community college and the university, but you're only allowed to accept the award offer from one school. What that means is when you go to that school, if you're taking more classes at COCC because you want to take the Oregon Promise as your tuition, you want to use that, take advantage of that, and have that as your funding for your school, you want to be there more and you want that to be your home school. You don't have to take a class at OSU necessarily. You can, but you always want to make sure you have more classes being taken at the community college level. And you would accept that. If you were, say, already transferred to OSU after your 2 years or after the amount of credits you can use at the community college to transfer, and you want to take one class at COCC again, you're like, oh, I forgot I could have taken this class, I didn't, or they added this class, I can now take that and save some money at OSU. You can then take more classes at OSU and take one class at COCC. That's totally fine, but OSU would be your home school. What that basically just means is they're the ones that are going to take care of your financial aid. They're the ones that are going to process it. And usually the school who's more inexpensive is the one you want to use. You want to use the one that you attend more courses and the one that you are going to have a lower cost to you. Again, if you have excess funds, like if you're getting a Pell Grant and other grants, or you have excess funds like scholarships, you can get that money reimbursed to you once you've hit that maximum, paid off your tuition, and then if there's extra, that will be reimbursed to you to help pay for other expenses. I do not suggest to take out more loans than you need. If you are a student who needs student loans and there's going to be extra left, you do not want to accept that full amount of loans if there's extra, just because you don't need it. You won't need the extra loan. That's going to be loans you have to pay back later on. And again, if you pay with the grants and the Oregon Promise, you shouldn't need any loans until you maybe go to the university and you need more. You never know. But do not take out excess loans. And you can talk to the financial aid department at community college or universities to talk about that and how to do that. Again, dual enrollment helps to lower costs. So for example, I don't know, I can't remember the exact cost at the top of my head, but I know that COCC is within $100 or $120 a credit. Each course at a university is either 3 or 4 credit classes, and sometimes even more. At COCC, for example, it would be 3 or 4 credit classes as well. Their tuition, again, is $100 to about $120. At OSU, it's like it's between $300 and $400 a credit. So you're going to be spending so much more money on, say, a math class or a writing class that is a lower level class you could have taken at the community college with the Oregon Promise or at a lower cost of tuition versus the university, where you could be spending $400 or, you know, almost $1,000 on a class. It's just a no-brainer when you can try to save some money at the community college before you go. Again, if you have a tuition paid for at a community college, but you want to have that college feel, there's ways to do that. And that's one of these reasons why DPP is so awesome. So again, you can always let your school know that you will be receiving outside scholarships if you've been awarded an outside scholarship and not an institution scholarship. What the institution scholarship means is that's like a scholarship you would receive from OSU if you were going there, or COCC. But if you got like a local scholarship, like one of the ones we have on our school website, you would let them know that so that they don't have a, sometimes it'll adjust like your cost of attendance or like how much you need for aid, and then it'll make it look like you don't need as much aid. So you need to let the COCC financial aid office know that, and they can make some adjustments. And again, if you have excess, it will be refunded out to you. And again, I say save that money. If you have excess scholarship money, save it, because you will need it eventually. And so you don't want to spend it on something other than school. You want to use it for school. Some of the key terms to know regarding these, again, is institutional scholarships. So that would be from a school that you plan to attend. That'd be scholarships from them that might be automatic scholarships. It might be institutional scholarships for like the department. Those are what that means. Private scholarships, again, that's local, state, or national scholarships outside of the institution. Why you want to report scholarships, again, is to, if you receive more scholarships than your cost of attendance, they will readjust your cost of attendance and it will look like you need less money for your tuition, and you don't want that. So you want to make sure that you're communicating with them on that. Some helpful coordinated advising from a university and community college. So again, they will help you plan the courses to take at the community college and transfer straight over to your university. You might have to do a little bit of research, but your admissions counselors at the university are a great option. Like for me, for example, when I went to Portland Community College and OSU in Corvallis, I was meeting with my advisor and I had told her, okay, I came up with this plan. I looked at the transfer credits. This class goes exactly over to the class I need. And then she told me, well, you are right. It did say that, but we have changed it. It is no longer a class that will be accepted as a transfer. So I could have taken that class based on what it says online. PCC wouldn't necessarily have known that because they don't work for OSU, so they don't get that update necessarily. So it was so helpful to have my OSU advisor. And I mean, I took the 2 years to transfer over and actually take classes at OSU just because I wanted to save money and I didn't need to take an extra class at OSU. But I was in constant communication with my advisor at OSU because I wanted to make sure all my classes transferred over, that I was going to save the most money and take advantage of that. So that is one of the best ways to, you know, get help and have a good transition. And again, if you don't plan to go to a university, you don't have to, but if you think that you have a career that you're going to need to transfer, this is a way to save some money, but also not get behind and not spend more money than you need with the communication that you have with them. So again, another thing that's cool about that is your transcripts from each school will transfer over to the university. So if you're going to COCC and you're dual partnered with OSU-Cascades, at the end of each term, your classes will go over to OSU-Cascades into your grad tracks, which basically shows you a grad plan of what classes you have to take at OSU to graduate with your bachelor's degree. And then it's nice because then you can see like, okay, well, this is what I have done and that's what I'll have to be doing next. Like these are the classes I'll have to do at OSU, and you can kind of have a good idea of what you're going to be taking and what classes you could take to try to compensate and fill in some of those gaps to not have to pay as much at the university. So again, it's really cool to be able to get those classes transferred over and see it all right away, before having to wait until you transfer fully and then kind of get bombarded with all these changes and have to find out how that all works. Again, you can split your time status from both schools. So to be a full-time student for financial aid, which gets the maximum amount of money, so maximum amount of loans, maximum amount of grants, you have to be either taking, I believe it's 9 to 12 credits. And so to be able to be full-time, you have to do 9 to 12 credits, and then below that would be part-time. You can take 4 classes at COCC and you know, a couple at OSU and then be full-time. If they're, you know, 3 credit classes each, you can be split evenly between the both. So you can take a couple classes at COCC, a couple classes at OSU, or you can take full classes at COCC, things like that. You could transfer it however you want as long as it's 12 credits. But again, if you are a student who is a Oregon Promise student who's wanting access to OSU, you have to take more classes at COCC to get that Oregon Promise, and you want to be full-time status so that you get the maximum amount of aid. So you'll probably want to wait a little bit to take classes at OSU, but again, it's great because you can still get help from them. Again, with other schools, same thing. So the Oregon Promise works for any Oregon community college, so you could be talking to both schools and planning it at the same way. So that is really nice. And again, you have a better transition to college right out of high school. Sometimes when you do take some of the classes at community college, they're less big. Sometimes they're a little bit easier in the transition. They're lower level. So it's just sometimes a nice way to slowly come into your college path and be able to not be as overwhelmed with the change, because it's very different from high school. Very, very, very different. So again, it's a nice transition. Sometimes you can get a grasp of, is this the right thing for me? Do I want to do this? Do I want to change my degree? All of that. So it's easier to navigate. It's just an easier way to do it. Right now, especially because of the world that we are in with our pandemic, online and in person, sometimes you might not want to go live the university right now. Depending on how that goes in the fall, you might want to stay here. You might not want to go to Portland State, downtown Portland, and have to just live in the dorms, but you can't go to class, or depending on the school. Each one's a little different. A lot of schools are allowing you to go live in their dorms, but there's just different requirements about that. But if that just doesn't sound good, if you're like, you know, I don't want to have to go live in the dorm, the nice thing about here is if you do go to COCC and OSU-Cascades, you don't have to live in the dorm. You can. They both have dorms, but you don't have to. If you're going to like PCC or Portland State University, you don't have to live on campus your first year if you're a dual partner student. So that's another cool thing. If you wanted to live on campus though, you could. It's just a nice way to be able to maybe do online school. So if you're a person who, you know, you want to go to OSU maybe once they're open fully, but you don't want to go online and spend a bunch of money on courses and not even be at the school, you could go to a community college and be dual enrolled. And so then once it opens, you can transition over there and you can transfer. You can transfer before a 2-year degree. You don't have to complete a 2-year degree. You can take as many classes as you want and then transfer over. So if you take like 2 classes, 4 classes, and then you go to OSU, that's totally fine. You have the opportunity to do all that. So you want to be looking at that. And again, with that, if you're wanting to go online and it is a hybrid or it is only online when you are going to college in the fall, hopefully not, then again, the Oregon Promise still works for online classes. So if you're wanting to save money, you can basically get free tuition at an Oregon Community College for going online and using the Oregon Promise. So these are some things that are worth talking about. And again, you have to, most schools should have the same requirement, but I know for sure that OSU has this and OSU-Cascades, but you can have at least 2 years as a dual partnership student taking only classes at a community college before you have to even take 1 class at the university. So that is really awesome, where you can be getting help from everybody, and really you don't need to take a class until you're almost done with your 2-year degree or done with your 2-year degree, and you're going to transfer anyways. And then if you don't, like, then they just don't let you be a dual partnership student anymore. And if you don't plan to transfer, that's not a big deal. But those are some of the things that are really important to think about. So if you have questions about dual partnership program and you want to get some more information about that, feel free to talk to me. You can talk to the admissions counselors like OSU-Cascades or the schools you plan to go to and get some more information about that. If you need anything, please let me know. I will put my contact info here. And then hang on, the next little video that's going to pop up on this is going to be our interview with Emily Ford, again from OSU-Cascades. She's the admissions advisor. And if you need help filling out applications or even just asking her about college life, she doesn't care if it's even asking about some other schools. She is an awesome resource and knows a lot. She's gone through college the same way, and she wants to help you guys be successful. So if you have questions for her too, her contact info will be next. But thanks for listening, and I hope that this was a little bit helpful for you guys.